Nearly 600 homes evacuated due to the Rice Ridge fire near Seeley Lake.
Plus, the waters of Seeley Lake once again closed to recreation for the second time this fire season.
The remnants of Hurricane Harvey continue dumping historic levels of rain in Texas.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Dennis Bray.
And I'm Jill Valley. The Missoula County Sheriff's Office is asking residents near the Rice Ridge fire in the Seeley Lake area to leave because of wildfire danger.
These new mandatory evacuation orders for approximately 580 homes were issued a little earlier this evening. Here's some of the areas that we're talking about. You'll see some of them on their screen, and some of these boundaries are also changing as we go through the night. The northern boundary right now, the junction of Highway 83 and Cedar Lane northeast to Morrell Creek Road. That includes areas like the Cottonwood Lakes Road east to the forest boundary. The east boundary now is Cotton Lakes Road at the forest boundary south to the northern boundary of Double Arrow. Southern boundary is the junction of Highway 83 and Whitetail Drive east to the junction of Whitetail Drive and Dolly Varden. That also includes the areas along South Canyon Drive and Glacier Drive, and then south into Double Arrow Ranch. And we have a full listing of all of those sites up on our website and on our Facebook page. You can see some of them right there, and they have been changing through the course of the night.
Now, Sheriff's Office spokeswoman Brenda Bassett says the decision was made to order the evacuations tonight because of the increased fire activity today and the need for safety.
Some of these areas had been in warnings prior, but others had not. So we're just asking people to move in an orderly fashion and expect deputies to come by and make contact with them. Some of these lines are changing as we head through the night. So you know, there may be additional roads, there may be additional people put on an evacuation order. So it really just depends on how the night plays out. And like I said, we'll have deputies working around the clock to try to get those families notified.
In fact, we spoke just a few minutes ago with Missoula County Sheriff's Captain Anthony Rio, who explains how people can help this evacuation process run smoothly tonight.
So our deputies right now are going door to door in the Seeley Lake area. Everyone has been so good up here in Seeley Lake. They've been just following the warnings, and so normally we're just telling them within the next, 10, 15, 20 minutes that they need to go.
Also, the Red Cross is opening a shelter tonight for the evacuees of the Rice Ridge fire, but it's here in Missoula at the University Congregational Church on University Avenue. All the evacuees are welcome, and there's no cost to stay in the shelter. However, they are allowing service dogs only in the shelter. We also were curious, wanted to check, because Seeley Swan High School is in the evacuation area. There is no school tomorrow for students at Seeley Swan High School due to the evacuation. School for all high school grades was supposed to begin tomorrow, but we checked with the school district. The freshmen, of course, attended today, but tomorrow nobody's going. MCPS is working with the Sheriff's Office to decide what's next regarding alternative school locations if they need those. Of course, safety is the primary question here. School has not yet started for elementary and middle school kids in Seeley Lake.
Now, there was a drone flying near the Rice Ridge fire near Seeley Lake that shut down firefighting operations on Sunday. Fire officials say they requested air resources to help with this fire, but all air operations were shut down because somebody was flying a drone, and that's illegal. The use of any drone is illegal near wildfires, and users can face hefty federal fines if they're caught. Seeley Lake waters are again closed for a second time this summer. This news came down earlier this afternoon. It's a closure that was issued by Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks. It was effective immediately. It applies to all recreation, including boating, swimming, wading, and fishing. This closure will be in place until fire crews no longer need to use the lake to fight the Rice Ridge fire. There's going to be a community meeting to talk about the fire. It's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at the Ovando Volunteer Fire Department.
On to the Lolo Peak fire now, which has now burned nearly 38,000 acres in the Lolo and Florence areas. But the good news is containment almost up to a third now, 32%. Fire managers report that while burn operations and mop-up continued along the fire line Sunday, firefighters also assisted in suppressing a new fire start in the Bear Creek area north of Highway 12 on Sunday afternoon. That new fire start was not a part of the Lolo Peak fire, and they stopped it at half an acre. Firefighters continued low-intensity burnout operations around Bass Creek. The burnout started just after midnight Sunday and continued until temperatures started to warm up in the morning, and they had to shut down operations. Firefighters are bracing for the potential for large fire growth, and note that one area of particular concern is the One Horse Creek Canyon just west of Florence. Authorities are reminding drivers not to stop along the highway to view the fire, which is burning between Lolo and Florence. MDT says because of the close proximity of the fire, no parking or stopping will be allowed on the highway from the intersection of Highway 12 and Lolo all the way south to Bass Creek in Ravalli County. Drivers should expect heavy fire traffic and watch for possible delays. Highway 12 west of Lolo is open to traffic, but the speed limit has dropped down to 45 miles per hour in that fire area. Now, Mother Nature turning up the heat in western Montana, and that's one of our concerns here going forward. For the latest conditions, let's throw it over to meteorologist Russ Thomas.
Yes, and we'll definitely get to those because it is hot and smoky and will continue to be so at least for the next couple of days. But I want to start off with a great view photo, and what we're getting is a lot of photos from the Bitterroot Valley. In fact, just about all of them, because we have these beautiful sunsets, and that is one redeeming quality we're getting out of this smoke. This is from Stevensville. Sherry Curley, thank you so much for sending this photo just this evening. As far as what we've got right now with our temperatures, it was a warmer day, and it's going to be a little bit warmer overnight. Temperatures are slow to come down because we do have some clouds out there. 74 in Missoula currently, 70 Kalispell. We'll have more coming up in just a few minutes.
The other big story we've been tracking, at least 2 people have died in the devastating floods on the Texas coast from Hurricane Harvey, but officials are concerned that number could dramatically rise.
Rescues have continued all day long, but there's more need than help available right now. CBS News correspondent Meg Oliver has the latest from Houston.
This was just one of more than 1,500 air rescues across the Houston area as the water keeps rising. U.S. Customs agents and the Coast Guard plucked residents from the roofs of their flooded homes. And there were many more rescues by high water vehicles and boats, a good portion of them operated by civilians.
You need help, come out!
Thousands have been rescued so far, and they include the most vulnerable, the disabled, the elderly, children, and babies.
Nobody's kept count. The count isn't the important thing. It's getting people out of dangerous situation.
Those awaiting rescues are pleading for help on social media. Relatives of a family of 6 say they died when their van was washed away Sunday, which officials are still trying to confirm.
The water took them. The water took the whole van and went into a ditch. My uncle jumped out. National Guard ran over there, tried to open the doors. They couldn't get the doors open. All my nieces and nephews drowned.
The entire National Guard in Texas has been mobilized, a total of 12,000 in the area to help. They'll also be managing the evacuees, like 7-year-old Jesus, who has cerebral palsy and hasn't eaten in a day.
His machines got wet, his medicine got wet, so he already had 3 seizures. That's very intense for her, but all we can do is wait.
Wait for food, for comfort, and for the rain to stop. Meg Oliver, CBS News, Houston.
The Red Cross of Montana on standby to send members to Texas to help out. The organization asking Montanans who want to help those affected by the hurricane to make financial donations. One way you can do that is by visiting redcross.org. You can also call 1-800-RED-CROSS or text Harvey to 90999 to make a $10 donation. The Montana Red Cross is also accepting checks to help out. Missoula police say that a report of shots being fired downtown on Monday turned out to be a hoax.
They say it's a fake call and it's called swatting. Lieutenant Bob Boshi says police got a call just before 8:30 this morning from a man who said he had hostages in an apartment in the 300 block of Patty Street. He demanded $20,000 ransom and even said one person had already been shot. Well, the police department, the sheriff's office, even the FBI responded to the scene. Bochi says after contacting the renter of that apartment, they found out this was fake. They say these types of false emergency calls have happened around the country. They're commonly called swatting. An investigation into the prank call is ongoing. Drivers, pedestrians, and bicyclists crossing the Russell Street Bridge have to find an alternative route tomorrow and Wednesday because crews are prepping the aging bridge for what is expected to be its last winter. Make a note, you'll want an alternative route tomorrow. The Montana Department of Transportation will be spending the next 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, resurfacing the Russell Street Bridge to squeeze one last year of service out of it. It's going to be done to help mitigate potholes and other damage this deteriorating bridge often experiences every winter. By the fall of 2018, 2018, MDT and city crews plan to have the first half of the new bridge completed, at which point the existing bridge will be demolished. That's when the second half of the new bridge will then be built. The finished bridge will have 2 northbound lanes, 2 southbound lanes, even a center lane, and should be open to traffic by fall of 2019. Now, since it's a major thoroughfare, Mountain Line is redirecting its Route 2 Bolt service from Russell Street to Orange so people can still get to where they need to go. So because of that, there could be some delays in bus service while crews work. Bidding to select a contractor should begin in late September, and depending on how that goes, construction on the new Russell Street Bridge could actually begin in about 2 months. Coming up, Russ says some folks could hit close to 100 degrees in western Montana this week. Plus, we begin a multi-part series examining changes to the state's correctional system. That story still to come on KPAX.